Someone said, when should I use a prong collar?
There's a lot of different instances where you might want to use a prong collar. So, why am I using a prong collar with Gabby right now? I'm using a prong collar with Gabby to actually create some precision in our healing because I can't explain that with some of the other mechanics of the way that I work with the dog. So, I think that the 2¼ millimeter prong collar made by Herm Springer is a fantastic tool for teaching the dog some precision in the healing. If you're using it for correction, I really don't recommend the prong collar for the best tool for any kind of punishment. But that doesn't mean it can't. But here's another good example. If your dog is really struggling with pulling, prong collar training to teach the dog boundaries is actually really, really effective. But you have to kind of know your dog and already have kind of a sense for how they read pressure, because there's different sizes on prong collars. And when I'm talking about the sizes, I'm not talking about like the diameter of the collar as it pertains to going around your dog's neck. What I'm actually talking about is the size of the tips that actually make contact, because that's actually the working mechanism of the collar. So you have your 2¼ millimeter, your 3 millimeter, your 4 millimeter tips. And so these different tips actually communicate in different ways to the dog. And so if you've been using a flat buckle collar or even a martingale or something like that, and you have a dog that's really pulling very heavily, I think the martingale is the safest way to go, because it's going to prevent injuries that those collars can create by collapsing the trachea and putting too much pressure on the esophagus. A prong collar cannot tighten to the degree to actually cause an injury on the dog. Any of the injuries that you see that are coming from prong collars are in general coming because people are leaving them on their dogs and the dog is growing into the collar, which is a really bad thing. So your prong collar should come on and off when you're actually going to do training with it. It should not stay on your dog. So I think you should use a prong collar for precision. I think that if you have a really heavy puller, it's a fantastic tool because you don't really need any timing. Your dog will automatically correct themselves by pulling on it, and it's actually a pretty effective device where dogs don't continue to pull against a properly sized prong collar. The real guesswork is what size prong collar you should use. And it's just not so easy for me to tell you. I don't think I can even articulate how do you determine which size prong collar. I really need to see the dog and have them on like a different type of leash and collar before I make the determination of what size I should put on them. So